I go to work? Please? It's been months. I need to feed my family.
Dude, the disease doesn't care how badly you want a haircut, dude. Okay, stay inside, okay?
Seriously? Do you want to kill Grandma?
My brother attempted suicide because he lost his job and couldn't handle the lockdowns.
Oh, okay. This idiot really wants to risk everyone's life to go to Applebee's, does he?
You're gonna get Grandma killed!
My grandmother already died. Last week, heart disease.
Oh, she died of COVID? That's terrible.
It would have been nice to go to her funeral, but I couldn't. You people wouldn't allow it.
Dude, shut up about Wall Street, okay? Some of us want to save lives, alright, okay?
Moron wants a haircut at Applebee's for the stock market, dude!
Only in the US would safety during a pandemic become like a political issue. Whoa, look at those cool young activists.
Whoa!
Whoa, you guys are so cool.
Keep it up, guys!
Wow.
So
Whoa, whoa, dude. Whoa.
So cool.
Whoa, you guys are awesome. Whoa.
Why can't everyone be more like them, dude?
Wait, why can they go outside? What about the disease?
Dude, I'm a medical professional, okay? And this is a great reason to go outside, alright? But my family needing food isn't? No, it isn't.
He would know, man. He's a doctor.
Screw this. I'm going back to work.
Seriously? When the rest of us have been doing our part?
That's so frustrating.
It's tough being the only stone cold realists around.
Shut up.
Seriously, dude? You're killing Grandma.
You lost all your credibility when you supported the protests.
What? They had a great reason to kill Grandma. Their voices weren't being heard.
Yeah. And you just, wanted a haircut or something.
Hey folks, thank you. All right, everybody, what's up? Back from vacation. Hope you enjoyed the Freedom Tunes. Really dig their YouTube channel. And I didn't see that Tim Pool thing. I didn't know anything about that. That's pretty cool. Tim Pool is going to be making one of those with the Freedom Tunes creators. So here's the deal. If by the way, I'm just using other people's content, as an intro. If you really like the Freedom Tunes stuff, make sure you go to their YouTube channel and you subscribe. And then comment on one of their videos. Just let them know that I sent you over there, that sort of thing. So, again, their content is fantastic. Most of their videos are about a minute or two, and then they've got a couple of the longer ones. But just really good stuff. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to show off a couple of things because a lot of you have been asking me about this. The amount of questions about 3D printing that I've been getting over the past couple of weeks has been interesting, and so I wanted to go ahead and just show you. Is this I took you know what I did? I screwed up, but anyway, you can kind of see this. I had a Punisher and I had a flag version of this. I don't know if it'll focus, but that's going to be a wallet. I didn't make it, I just printed it. But the main thing that most of you are interested in is the resin printer that I just got. And since I've been gone for the past week on vacation, a lot of you have, again, kind of asked me about the resin printer. As most of you know, I've been trying to do challenge coins, okay, for quite some time. It's not a cheap investment if you're going to have them made. I think the cheapest that I've been able to find is like $4 or $5 a piece, which, isn't bad, but then you've got to buy a batch of them and that sort of thing. But I've recently decided that I wanted to get a resin printer, and I wanted to get one. I decided probably like a month before the shutdowns actually happened. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. And I finally got the resin printer. Most of you know I've been doing 3D printing for years, but the resin printer is relatively new. And so one of the things that I ran into with the resin printer was that I can make my own challenge coins, and lo and behold, I did. Come on, man. There we go. Focus, focus, focus. Can you do it? No, not really. All right, well, there we go. All right, so this, you got to turn it kind of sideways. So that's the smooth version of it, which means, and sorry about, the light's just not helping me out here. The background of it is just smooth, but this one, this has a texture to it. Come on. And you're not going to be able to pick it up. So I did post some pictures of it. Sorry, the camera just will not focus. So I did post some pictures of these on Instagram and Facebook for those of you who haven't seen it. And if you're on the Discord server, go into 3D printing. So the coins came out great. I mean, absolutely great. They're 1.75, which standard for the larger coins, 1.5 for the smaller coins. And what I can do with these is I can actually turn these into just normal challenge coins. You put a little color on them and then use some rub and buff, and it kind of looks like it's actual metal. And then I can also do metal casting, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time as well. So, Brian, thank you. I'm glad that I'm back as well. Did have a nice little staycation, if you will, but I did unplug. The older I get, the better I'm able to unplug. For the most part, on my vacations, it used to be something that I could not do, and I would be like, well, I don't want to get back and be totally, behind on everything. And luckily, the older I get, I'm better able to unplug. So I really did unplug quite a bit. There was a couple times my wife came to me and she's like, "Have you heard about this?" I'm like, "Nope, haven't paid attention." She's like, "Wow, I actually know something that you don't." I was like, I don't want to waste my time with that stuff now. Yeah, Casey's printing his own money, exactly. Somebody did comment on the Discord server for premium subscribers that I was doing my part to go ahead and fix the coin shortage. So there is that. But I will be doing some molds and make some metal castings and things like that too. But I don't know how good I'm going to be at that, early on. So, I mean, pretty interesting. Hey, Ellen, how you doing? Yeah, you're back because of COVID. So I wanted to go ahead and just go over a couple of things, not going to be anything too crazy or too insane. The first one, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. Please hit that like button. Please comment on my videos and share them. If you're on Facebook, you all seem to be doing just fine. I mean, I could always use you sharing videos and things like that. Facebook is by far and away my most popular social media platform. You can follow me on all of those things on that list right there. But the new one that we're doing is DLive. So I went to DLive because, as many of you know, a couple of years ago, YouTube demonetized me, and they will not allow me to make any money whatsoever. And they actually throttled my account. We've got all the stats and everything else where they throttled it. They've taken away subscribers. Many of you have commented that you don't get your notifications. You used to be subscribed. Now you're unsubscribed. And it's just a whole thing. So DLive was the one that came the highest recommended as far as an alternative to YouTube. So DLive plugs right into my streaming software. And so that was the one that I tried first. It came highly recommended. I like the platform and the way that everything kind of works. So I really want to build the DLive community to have that be my primary video community online. Okay. So if you go to dlive.tv /Casey the host, just follow me there, please. And if you want to give me money, cool, fine. You don't have to. Premium subscribers that's primarily how I would like to get my revenue on Podbean. But yes, I prefer DLive, Daniel, over YouTube. I really do. Now, again, YouTube is great at some things. The problem is that freedom of speech, not one of them. And that's a real issue. DLive just kind of lets you do your own thing. So far, so good on DLive. As most of you know, I tried the Twitch thing. For me, I was always uncomfortable with using Twitch because I'm a gamer too. And I didn't really want, and I know that other people have, I didn't really want to take over Twitch and their identity with political stuff. And then Twitch started getting a little woke. So at that point, all right, we'll just pull the plug. Instead of building Twitch, we'll pull the plug on that. I'll still use it for video games and stuff like that. But DLive is the video community that I really want to build. So if you're a YouTube subscriber, go over to DLive, please, and follow me over there. That's the best possible thing that you could do for me right now, beyond subscribing and becoming a premium subscriber on podbean.com. And that's where you'll get this type of content every day of the week. Okay. So this is the free show that we do every week on Mondays. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's premium content. All of my Coffee with Cases that you hear on radio stations, those are all premium content. Fake News Flash when it comes back, as soon as my commercial is done, Those are going to be premium content. And there will be some stuff like Casey Reacts. Those things are going to be new videos that are going to be coming out for premium subscribers only on Podbean. And as I've said before, not to make this sound too much like an infomercial, we'll hop into the Karens here in a minute. But if you go to caseythehost.podbean.com, and there's a couple of people on Facebook like, I don't want to download another app. I don't really care what you want to do. Don't download them. You don't get to see the content, and I don't get to make any money off of you. There you go. It's a lose-lose situation. But if you go to Podbean, download the app. The app is a really good podcast app. It's free, okay? Follow me. You'll get your notifications when I go live. You'll get notifications when I upload videos and content. And if you're a premium subscriber, you'll be able to open, listen to, and view that content. It's really that simple. If you're not a premium subscriber, you still get my free podcasts, which are stuff for my radio show on 95.3 MNC. Although every day this week, except for today, I'm also doing WoWo in Fort Wayne. So again, DLive. All right, here we go. DLive.tv/Casey the host. Boom. There you go. It's right there. It's also on the sidebar. Right there. I always get weirded out with the mirror thing. All right, so there you go. Please follow me on DLive. Please subscribe to Premium on podbean.com. Download the free app so you get those notifications and can interact, and we are good to go. All right? So let's deal with the freaky Karens out there. Now, what is interesting about the Karen culture thing, first of all, Karens used to be somebody who was unreasonably demanding to see the manager, right? Somebody who was entitled, somebody who believed the customer is always right even when they're wrong. That used to be what a Karen is. And now a Karen has simply become anybody who does anything who's a woman, particularly a white woman, in public, and you don't like them. And I don't really like how that's kind of morphed into it, but it's one of those things where, like, you have these Karen freakout videos that are on YouTube, and I swear to God, like 40% of them are people who are not being unreasonable, who are angry at people for a legitimate reason, but they still call them Karens, and it's all done for clicks and things like that. It's irritating to me because Karen has a definition. You don't need to morph a bunch of other people into it. And there has been this competing Karen ideology on pro-mask, anti-mask, that sort of stuff. Again, we've already highlighted the science on the radio show multiple times, and it's funny because I always see like YouTubers who don't cite any scientific research, no peer-reviewed stuff, and they're like, see, masks work. Look, a cloth mask in this environment is better than nothing much of the time, okay? But it's only going to work if the planets align and you're properly taking care of it and sanitizing it on a regular basis after every single solitary use, and sanitizing your hands and all of that. So everything kind of has to line up perfectly for the cloth masks to really have any effect in the way that we're using them right now. That's the thing that I'm just trying to get people to understand. Is it better than nothing? Sure. If you're going to sneeze, you're going to cough, a mask is going to be better than just spraying it everywhere. And it's going to be better than, coughing in your arm or your hands or what have you. But it's not this universal thing that is going to save everybody's life. And that's where you're starting to run into some of the problems, and that's causing anger. So you have a bunch of people out there who believe if you don't wear a mask, you're literally killing people. They're wrong. And then you have other people out there who are reacting to that overreaction by overreacting themselves. And if you even ask them to wear a mask, they lose their heads too, and they start screaming and yelling and throwing things. Neither of those is really helpful, all right? As I've told you before, one of the reasons that I wear the masks that I do, which masks are stupid, is when people look at it, they still see that I'm wearing it, and they may ask me about it, and then I can point them to a couple of pieces of research, and they can, start to take a look at it. But this video, I think, takes this to a whole other level that I'm going to show you here in a second. You've got people, first of all, the mask is secondary to social distancing, all right? Social distancing is the number one thing, okay, to prevent you from getting COVID, all right? Now, when you get COVID, again, depending on your age group, you've got up to a 99% chance of survival, more than 99% for people who are under 40 years old. So, under 45, excuse me. Now, if you're older, this becomes a problem. COVID's dangerous for you, although it is weakening. All right, the virus, the new mutated strain, is less dangerous than it used to be. Plus, we have more effective treatment methods. And I'll announce today on the radio show, we may have several new ones that are also coming out. And the Moderna, the large trial of Moderna vaccine has started today. 30,000 people are going to be a part of that. That's all going to be on the radio show later. We'll go over that. So this video is, I believe it's in California. And, you know, in California, you're supposed to wear the mask only in situations where you cannot socially distance. All right. Remember, social distancing is the primary thing that keeps you safe from the virus. The mask is a secondary measure when you cannot socially distance only. That's the whole premise behind the mask. It is the most minor of potentially impactful steps that you can take when you cannot socially distance. That's all it is. It isn't the primary thing that is saving people's lives. It isn't the primary weapon against the virus. It isn't even all that effective. But in a situation where you cannot socially distance, the mask is considered the last possible gasp of air, if you will, before you die. All right? It's all metaphor. It's not real. You know, you get what I'm saying. You're drowning, and the paper mask is the last little thing. Okay, last little thing before you actually go under, and that's about as effective as it really is. So these people are eating in a dog park. They are socially distancing. This couple is away from everybody else. Okay, you cannot eat with your mask on. Everybody knows that. Everybody's seen those videos where people cut the little slit in their mask so they can eat while keeping the mask on, which of course doesn't do anything. They look stupid. But these people are socially distancing at a dog park. Dogs walking around. They're by themselves at a bench. They're eating. Nobody's around them. Okay. And of course their masks are off. They're eating. They're socially distant from everybody else there. There's no reason for them to have a mask on. Well, then this crazy old lady shows up and she pepper sprays the couple after getting into a verbal altercation. Have a look.
What are you doing? You cannot be serious. You just maced him. You just maced him. You just maced him. You just maced him and their food because you disagreed. Don't worry, I'm videotaping. Don't worry. I'm not going to.
That's not okay.
This is not for.
That is not okay.
Not
You
okay.
can't treat people like that.
What's
That is
wrong
wrong.
with you, lady?
That is wrong. You can't go around doing people.
It's okay, guys. This is her car.
Raise somebody.
Don't worry, I got it. You weren't defending yourself, lady, and I've got this.
Did she hurt her?
I didn't do anything. She didn't do anything.
All right. So, obviously, somebody got pepper sprayed. The lady was crying about being pepper sprayed. It doesn't tickle. So the woman, San Diego, California, People's Republic of. They're at a dog park. They were not wearing face masks while they were eating their lunch. Again, only an absolute imbecile thinks that you wear a mask while you're eating. Ash O'Brien says that she and her husband, Jarrett, were minding their own business. They were enjoying a sunny picnic lunch with their 3-month-old puppy when a raving woman approached them. That's the elderly Karen. O'Brien says that the masked woman called the couple idiots and stuck up her middle finger at the two dining before deploying pepper spray at them and their food. Video footage of the incident, which you just watched, shows the unnamed woman appearing to spray a substance on and around Kelly while O'Brien hysterically wails in the background. It was captured by a bystander who posted it on YouTube. It shows Kelly attempting to wrest the pepper spray away from the woman, as the bystander obviously is shouting at her, "What is your problem?" Then the woman leaves, gets in her car, she bounces out of there. Now, according to KGTV, there is a no food policy in place at the park. All right, so couple is violating a no eating policy. All right, now, obviously that does not justify pepper spraying anybody, but this lady did. O'Brien shared the video of the incident on her Facebook page, writing, "So this happened today at Dusty Roads Dog Park in Ocean Beach. This is my husband getting maced by a random old lady. We were just sitting down, eating lunch, minding our own business. We were not wearing masks because we were eating. You can't wear a mask and eat at the same time." Again, these are things that, mature adults know. She kept calling us idiots and flipping me off. Then she started saying more stuff, and I told her to leave the park and stop harassing us. She then came right up to our table where we were eating, pointing the mace at me first, and got a little on me. Then my husband stepped in and took the entire can. All right. Most pepper spray, depending on the size of the, for those of you who do not know, I run a company selling these things. Most of them are going to give you, anywhere between 5 and 10 actual sprays. If it's a pump, if it's an aerosol, that can go really, really quick. All right. It can give you a few seconds, basically, of... Most cans are designed to give you 2, if you're lucky, 3 attack repelling sprays. All right. Generally speaking, with the aerosols. She concluded, "Thank God for the bystander that took this video, because we are going to the police now to press charges. I'm sharing this because people need to watch out for this lady in San Diego. Share, spread, all of that stuff." Okay. So, look, this has been something that's been happening quite a bit. Now, there are obviously cases where you have individuals who don't want to wear a mask, who then assault employees, or they accost employees and they're yelling at them, and the employees don't have any power at all. They don't have any say in whether or not a business or an establishment, which is private property, requires a mask. And so I'm constantly seeing people, I have rights, I can be in Costco without a mask. No, you can't. Is the mask policy stupid? Yeah, but it's Costco's policy, and that's their property. Whether you're a paying member or not, you don't have a right to be there. You don't have a right to go into Walmart, although Walmart says they're not going to enforce this. And so there's a lot of people who are getting kind of wonky on both sides of this thing, instead of just sitting down and actually looking at the data and being reasonable and using common sense. So this ended up happening, and it's, it's like I said, it's not the only example. You've got people who have been assaulted for not wearing masks, in addition to this family here. So they violated the no food policy at the dog park. Okay. So call the park authority or whatever it is in San Diego and let them know, hey, people are eating here. Just like they do in New York when people are eating on the train, and they go ahead and they contact the whatever the train authority is there in New York, and then basically they go, well, we don't care because we have other things to do. But if you do get caught, you obviously get a ticket. So there you go. But this lady is insane. She's nuts. And here's the thing. She feels justified in doing this because there has been a coordinated effort to scare the bejesus out of everybody about this virus, and to make sure that the media covers this wall to wall, that the stupid masks will save your life. Nothing else works. Only the masks. Hydroxychloroquine is a scam. Only your cloth mask that you've never washed in 3 months. Only that can save your life. And it's just absolutely stupid. But they have whipped people up into a frenzy about this, and those crazy people are going out there and now assaulting people for not wearing masks. This is no different than all of the pieces that I published about how the media instigates violence in the United States. The media instigates mass shootings in the United States. They are responsible. The FBI's research has shown this over the years as well. They have 2 studies confirming that I am right. Now the media is doing the same thing with the stupid mask. So now people are absolutely freaking out about this. And it is so silly and so dumb. In a story the other day, again, the requirement now in the state of Indiana that went into effect today, everybody's got to wear a mask. I happen to live in Elkhart County, where they've had a mask mandate for a while now. But I was in a place the other day. We're abiding by the order from the county and from the state of Indiana. As silly as I think it is, we're abiding by it. And we go into a store and there's somebody there without a mask, and I can see them looking at us like, is this going to be a problem? And I just wink at them. I was like, it's no big deal. It really isn't a problem. But everybody is losing their damn minds over this because this whole thing has been whipped up into a frenzy and people have been lied to. Look, you had Dr. Fauci over the weekend. I don't have the pictures, but most of you have seen them right by now. Dr. Fauci's at the Washington Nationals game. Dr. Fauci, who from the very beginning, this is what I used to tell people, but now I can't because he's changed his mind because of political reasons. Anytime somebody criticizes what I say about masks, I'm like, well, it's kind of interesting. You keep telling me to listen to the experts because my position on a mask is exactly the same as Dr. Fauci's, which is exactly the same as every epidemiologist in the world, okay? Which is that it can help in some circumstances, but by and large, it's not going to do much for you. So now he's changed his tune because of politics. I've told you, the mask mandates are busy work. It's when you don't have anything else to do, you require everybody to have the mask so you can tell everybody, look, we're doing this. We're doing our part. We need you to do your part. And if there's an increase in cases, it's because people are not wearing the mask, what have you. The research has been crystal clear from the very beginning of the virus. One, the lockdowns did not prevent the spread of the virus. Didn't happen. Two, places that had mask mandates early on had the same or greater rate of infection as those who did not have mask mandates, which either means the masks don't work as well as they're telling you, or there is some other weird, otherworldly thing that is going on that nobody can explain. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago before I went on vacation, the New York Times published their mask map? Do you remember that? And it's like, these are all the places with mask mandates. And it lined up exactly with all of the places that were having the major outbreaks in the country. Exactly. Now, I'm not telling you that the masks are causing an outbreak, but as we have highlighted numerous times on my radio show, if you wear your mask one time and then sanitize it and you don't touch the outside of that mask with your dirty old hands, okay, until you get to a place to sanitize it, you might be keeping the mask clean. But if you come in contact with the virus and you sneeze on your cloth mask or your surgical mask, if you sneeze in it, if you cough in it, that virus is now on the outside of that mask. Okay? They do not prevent the virus from going through. They don't. They reduce the distance the droplets travel. That's it. Again, goes back to social distancing being your primary source of preventing infection. So, you have the virus now on the outside of the mask. You touch the mask. You now got the virus on the mask. You got the virus on your hand. You throw the mask in your car. Everywhere that mask comes in contact with, or the little plume from the air burst when you drop it, that's all now infected. You touch all of that stuff, you put the mask back on, you go into the store, you've got the virus all over the outside of your body now. Everything you touch in the store now is infected. That's how it works, okay? If you have the mask on and you're sanitizing it and you're not touching it, every single solitary second they're using this thing, you are sanitizing it. Maybe if the planets align, you can protect yourself. Maybe. So, here's the theory. This is where I'm going to say, potentially, the masks are actually increasing the spread of the virus, okay? Now, again, I have no way of knowing if this is true, and I'm not trying to tell you that wearing a mask is going to make you sick, all right? But I'm just saying, there is a scenario based on the lab tests that have been done on masks, and I've given you research going back to 2006. They don't work against the common cold. They don't work against the common flu. They don't work against a whole bunch of viruses, almost no viruses, to be perfectly honest with you, and they're not working here, okay? Not the way that the media is portraying. But what if, just a scenario, what if the reason that we're seeing the biggest outbreaks in places that have mask mandates is because people aren't taking care of the mask? And the infected mask is being touched and tossed in their car and then being spread around. And so the places that have the mask mandates, because people aren't doing what they're supposed to do with the mask, as 99.9% of people who are wearing masks are not doing what they're supposed to do with the mask, maybe that's what's causing the spread in those areas. Now, it could just be that those are predominantly high population, liberal urban areas, and that's why the spread is happening. But it's just, I'm just saying it's potential. The potential is there. CO2 contamination, well, it depends on what you're doing. As I've highlighted before, if you've got a surgical mask, you're not going to have restricted airflow, okay? It's not going to happen. But people are, with the cloth masks that they're making at home, they're finding any old little like HEPA filter or whatever to put in the masks. And sometimes I've seen people like double up on those things, which causes a serious problem with airflow and getting a proper amount of oxygen. Now, I've got a couple of masks. Kids have a couple of masks. Some are thicker than others. And I can tell you the thicker ones, without a doubt, when it's a hot day, causes a problem, with breathing. And, you got to go slow. You got to breathe a little bit slower and deeper. And then occasionally you got to do what you can to go and get some more air, pulling the mask out or whatever. But again, you're touching the mask. Is it gonna kill us? No, but we're healthy. People who are not healthy, it's going to be a bigger issue. It just depends on what the mask is. If you've got some kind of a breathing issue, I would recommend surgical mask, not cloth. Okay. And again, the fitment of the mask, how far away from your face it is, because if it's close to your face, when you breathe, obviously sucks back in there, becomes a problem. So there's all sorts of things that are issues with the mask, but it depends on the mask. In general, wearing a mask is not going to lead to a carbon buildup that is going to hurt you, okay? In general. People who are going a little overboard with their homemade masks might negate that with their homemade masks, all right? That's a possibility. We've kind of highlighted it. I actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and I had a doctor friend of mine send me a text message. He goes, dude, you're so right. You're so right. Because, again, I've seen people throw in like 2 or 3 HEPA filters in their mask filtration system, which reduces airflow, and they can't get enough oxygen. Next thing you know, they're short of breath, they could pass out, that sort of thing. Medical conditions are obviously going to change things, and you need to talk with your doctor, okay? So there you go. Okay, so you found a study back in 2009 where the N95, the gold standard, was 40% effective in limiting the transmission of swine flu for healthcare workers. Look, the N95 mask is not very effective against the common cold either. So, as I touch my face, I've highlighted some of those studies, for most people out there. But, generally speaking, with a surgical mask, you're not going to have an issue with CO2 buildup. But in other masks, you certainly could. So it all depends on what the mask is, what your situation is, that sort of thing. But again, this elitism that is out there, that if you don't wear a mask, you're inferior to me, and that anybody who says anything negative about masks is automatically stupid or doesn't know what they're talking about, that's a big problem, because the people who are pushing masks oftentimes don't know anything about them. They don't know anything about the research. Again, I've gone over studies going back to 2006. They don't know anything about the effectiveness of them at all. And, when you've got people running around from the very beginning, listen to the experts, but the experts have been saying the exact opposite of what the media has been telling people since the beginning of this thing. The media is telling a totally different story than what epidemiologists, biologists, and infectious disease experts have been saying from the get-go. So you can't really trust the media on this. And it should be noted, okay, that yes, you've got some YouTube videos where some doctors are doing the CO2 test on their surgical mask and what have you, and all of that. But there are epidemiologists out there who have said, yes, there are circumstances where masks can certainly cause an issue. It just depends on the person, depends on the mask, the fitment of the mask, the materials of the mask, all of that stuff. So you can't definitively say it doesn't do it for all types. What you can do, and we've seen videos with this, and this is again where ignorance of masks kind of comes in. If you have doctors and nurses using a CO2 reader or whatever, doing a surgical mask, that's just a surgical mask. That's not what some of the stuff that's being sold or made at home does, okay? And a lot of the masks that I'm seeing people wear are masks that are used by athletes specifically to reduce airflow. It is a training exercise, if you will. So if you work out and you're an elite athlete, they have these masks that you put over your face, which reduces the amount of oxygen you can get. It is designed, I think it builds up your white blood cells. It is designed for your body to become better at producing oxygen in the blood. Okay? Those masks, when you couldn't get any surgical masks anywhere, those masks kind of became standard. And there's a ton of people who are wearing those masks now. Well, those masks are actually designed to reduce oxygen. Okay? So yeah, there's a lot of masks going around right now that do in fact reduce oxygen. And if you got breathing issues, I would get surgical masks if I were you. That would be the best course of action to go ahead and deal with your mandate. Whatever happened to flatten the curve? Look, flatten the curve was a lie. Plain and simple, it was a lie. We flattened the curve back in March. April, and late April. They obviously didn't care about it. They keep moving the goalposts. Now they want to shut everything down. If you go back into March and April, I told you, when people keep asking me, when is this going to end? It will end November 4th, the day after the election. That's when it's going to end. Okay? And anybody who thinks that this new wave of viruses, which, by the way, we've got millions of people now who have been falsely labeled as positive. Okay? Millions of people in the United States falsely labeled as positive that are not positive for the virus. And that's all being factored into the numbers. We have the CDC, who just lost control of keeping the statistics because they were still merging the antibody test with the virus test, and they were still counting any hospitalization as a COVID hospitalization, even if you weren't in the hospital for COVID. Any death is still being counted as a COVID death, even if you didn't die of the virus. That was in the cartoon that I played at the beginning of this thing. Those are all very real things. So are the numbers inflated? They absolutely are inflated. There isn't any doubt about that. There isn't an argument or a debate about that. They certainly are. We know that. To what degree, we don't know. But we know that those numbers are inflated. But I would also like to point out that Europe is having a resurgence of the virus too. So is China. So it's not because of Trump and Trump's policies. It's just the nature of the virus, guys. But the newer mutated strains that we have seen, according to the researchers in Italy, say that it's weaker. Plus, we have better treatment of them. These are all good things. And we're going to go over herd immunity today on the radio show as well, because a lot of additional researchers and epidemiologists are coming out and saying, hey, we might actually be at herd immunity on this thing. We might very well be close to it. And I know over the weekend they said, hey, look, we have 1,000 deaths per day. It's the highest it's ever been. Yeah, but you know that not all of those are actual deaths from COVID-19. So you can't take that number. Anybody who does take that number, they're just not being intellectually honest. You know, they're just taking a blanket number that includes people who died from things other than the virus. Perfect example is Thursday or Friday before I went on vacation in Florida. You know, you had 2 people who were in their 20s who died of the virus, and people are like, well, you know, people under 40 don't die from this thing. So what happened? How did they die from the virus? You know, what was going on? What were the other health conditions that they had? And the experts said, well, actually, this one didn't have any other health conditions because they died from a motorcycle accident. They didn't die from COVID-19, but they were listed as a COVID-19 death. But they died because they got in an accident on a motorcycle. Okay? That's been happening all over the country from the very beginning. It happened in Italy, too. Italy is revising all of their numbers now. Italy is going back and they're looking at their numbers and they're saying that, you know, their estimates could be many, many times higher than they actually are. But we're not going to know this probably, again, for 2-3 years after this whole fiasco is done. I've told you that from the beginning. That's generally how long it takes to sort it all out. But we have an inflated number of deaths. There's no doubt about that. We have an inflated number of cases. No doubt about that. We just don't know to what degree, okay? So people need to chill out with the mask thing. You know, one, is wearing a mask silly? Most of the time, yeah. Yeah, it is. But you don't have a right to go into a private business and not wear one. If you don't want to go out there, fine. If you want to hold politicians accountable, had some people send me messages saying that Holcomb lost their vote. All right, well, you should have thought about that in the primary, I guess, but that's fine. Hold them accountable. But you don't have a right to go into Walmart or Kmart or Costco or any other place without wearing a mask because you're an American. You don't have that right. It's that simple. It's their business, their private property. If they want to require a mask, they are allowed to require a mask. Okay? If they don't want to, so be it. But then running around and attacking people for not wearing one? No. That's worse than the other category, to be perfectly honest with you. So watching people behave like this is a little disconcerting, to say the least. But, again, our media has whipped people into a frenzy. When you're angry and you're afraid, your brain turns off. It's that simple. All right. Any last minute? I'll give you 2 minutes. Have any questions or anything like that? I'll take a look at what's going on. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, debating the George Floyd thing. I'll leave that one alone for right now. Floyd was COVID positive. Now, there is debate about the COVID thing because we talked to Dr. Dahlia about that. So go download the Dr. Dahlia interview on my podcast because she kind of talked about that as well. Look, George Floyd was previously sick with the virus. He had the antibodies, but then he was confused with him being currently positive with it, but he wasn't supposed to be currently positive with it, okay? And by the way, the numbers should be a little bit more accurate now that HHS has the data and not the CDC. The CDC was way behind. Way behind. They were originally 7 weeks behind. Trump administration got them to get 3 weeks behind. HHS is said to be able to get you real-time data every single day. All right? We'll see how that actually shakes out. We will see. Nothing wrong with a face shield. Again, that will certainly help. There you go. Can a private business go against the medical exemptions and HIPAA, though? Well, look, that's where things get interesting, because there's no way for you to prove, beside a doctor's note, okay? There's no way for you to prove that you have a condition that requires you to not wear a mask. And so what a business will do, a business has they have no right to require you to divulge what your condition is, okay? That's a HIPAA violation. But the business can say, well, we will make accommodations for you. So yes, a business can say, no, you can't come in here without a mask, but the business should have an accommodation for you. If they don't have an accommodation for you, then, I mean, depending on your condition, you could have an ADA complaint, that sort of thing. And I've heard that there's going to be some ADA complaints and lawsuits filed. So it'll be interesting to see what pans out with that. But a business should be able to make accommodations for you. Okay. And sometimes they're not. I've seen some videos where they're not. And yeah, people are rightly frustrated by that. Okay. What else do we have here? I was very skeptical of the hit by car, died by COVID meme at first, but it's actually what's going on. Can't deny it. Exactly. Who's advising Governor Holcomb? Well, I mean, look, okay, here's the thing. If you're Governor Holcomb, and the whole mask thing is busy work for politicians. If you're Governor Holcomb, okay, you have a choice. Don't require masks, and then get beaten up and attacked for not requiring masks, okay? Even if the science supports the governor on that. Or you can require masks and say, I did everything that the experts have advised me to do, and anything that's happening now is, out of my control. So it's kind of like I did everything, hands off, okay? And that's politically, that is the smarter move, all right? Doesn't mean it's the right move, doesn't mean it's the most accurate move or the one that follows science the most, but that's the right political move. Yeah, most of them are doing curbside pickup or order online. Some places don't allow that, and that becomes frustrating for people. But, there's a lawsuit against the LaPorte mayor. Yeah, not surprised. Business I work for just says, if somebody comes in without a mask, we provide online shopping. We aren't required to make them leave. Okay, interesting. All right. Well, I got to bounce, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got a radio show to do, and first day back is always a little weird, especially in this environment, let's be honest. I want to thank silverfoxart.com. In fact, I've got this amazing piece right here. Since I still didn't get a chance, I was supposed to turn my studio around so you can see my wall, but I didn't get an opportunity to do that today. Schedule got a little backed up. This is a silverfoxart.com piece. It is backlit. This is all made out of wood, full color, 3-dimensional. And well, that just has one layer. Like my logo has 3 layers. So I've got my name, I've got the cross mics, and then I've got my skull. And it's all backlit. Just amazing stuff. Go to silverfoxart.com. and pick up your piece. Follow them on social media. And if you see the giant Mandalorian, that is available. That is for sale. I have the Mandalorian right there. It's sitting right there as a display piece, but it is available and for sale for anybody who wants it. Go to silverfoxart.com. Let them know that I sent you. If you're a veteran, you automatically get 10% off. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you commission one of those larger pieces valued at $250 or more, use the code BANANAFACE25 to save yourself some cash. All right. Follow me on dlive.tv/Casey the host. We're moving from Twitter and from Twitch to DLive, okay? I want to focus on DLive. I want to build my DLive community more so than my YouTube community. So if you're a YouTube subscriber, go follow me on DLive, okay? dlive.tv/Casey the host. The URL is right there in the sidebar there. And it's also, if you're watching on well, actually, I guess it should be anywhere. It'll be in the comments below, okay? So you should be, or the description below. You should be able to see it. Go to DLive, follow me there. Better than YouTube. Want to build that community up because YouTube censors the snot out of me, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, BitChute maybe. We might get to BitChute at some other point. We're going to start with DLive, okay? That's what we're starting with. And that's what we're going to work on. And if you are a premium subscriber at Podbean, then you might very well have some challenge coins in your future. All right. And your shirts are supposed to be, for those of you who are tier 1 operatives on the premium subscription service, the T-shirts are supposed to be delivered on Friday. They didn't get here, so it's now saying today or tomorrow. All right. So once I get them, they will go out to all of you. And then we'll get stickers and everything else out to everybody as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to bounce. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will, well, chat at you on Discord in the live chat channel during the radio show on 95.3 MNC.